To the sixth major in Berlin here. Another smashing game ahead of us. And as we get deeper into this group stage, we're about to find out which teams are going to go to the playoffs and which ones are going to be going home. Mandy, it's one of our own APAC South crew here. It's the Gaimin Gladiators, and they're playing the best that Europe has to offer, the Wolves.
Well, this is the best that Europe has to offer, but the last time that we saw these two go head-to-head, it was a very tight matchup. OT, full 15 rounds had to be played out, but in the end, Wolves are able to take it out.
If anything, Gladiators exceeded expectations by a pretty huge margin, by pushing to overtime. And it was only the smallest of margins that got Wolves that eventual victory. That said, it was a big dub for them, and it's been, for the most part, sitting pretty for Wolves. They did drop another game, but for Gladiators, this is really the last stand for them. If they lose this game in regulation, playoffs, off the cards.
Gaimin Gladiators, this is a mission-critical game if they want to keep their chances at making the playoffs. Everything is on the line for them, and taking it to the Wolves is going to be a very, very tall order to cross that line.
Let's see if the Gladiators can deliver like they did the previous matchup. Let's go to the map, Vito. Let's find out where we're going. Last time it was Oregon, and it's Oregon again! Oregon again! This is going to be a bit spicy. We already had an 8-7. Is this going to go Wolves' way again?
Now this is a very tough discussion to make because you could see it in two ways, right? You could see it, okay, Wolves, they were good on this, but they weren't dominant. So for Gladiators, they've had a chance to go back, prep it, and correct those mistakes. But can they correct those mistakes in just a day? Is that enough time to go back into a direct rematch and come out on top? I don't know.
Well, Gladiators have been thrown into the deep end, and there's no more waiting time. There's no more extra little chance to analyze. We're going into the game right now. It's time to kick off the second matchup between these two teams. A deadly rematch, and the Wolves are poised to take it. Look at that, 82%. The community has spoken, but this little modest Indonesian team and the Gladiators at their very first major will take a stand, a final stand, and hang their hopes of playoffs on Oregon.
Well, it seems like the community has decided the victors of this match already for us, but I'm going to reserve my judgment, especially waiting for this operator ban phase. This is the first ever point of difference that we might possibly see between these two matches, and it all starts from now.
Well, that's the thing, right? Last time these two teams played this very map, we have all of the information in front of us. And particularly for Gladiators, who lost, albeit in a narrow 8-7, they're the ones who can go back, look at that game, say, what did we do wrong? What can we fix this time around? What can we do differently? Do we go for a different ban? Do we go for a different play? And as you can see from the expression on the Wolves' face, they seem unsurprised at that Flores ban from Gladiators.
This is a very interesting ban for me. I think taking out the Nook is an interesting one for the Wolves because really the only player that played it on their attacking half on the side of the Gladiators was Arpe. Actually, Hoffen picked it once as well. It doesn't feel like it really put that much... It is so hard to call. Maybe they're just trying to take away the element of surprise from the Gladiators. They need the Gladiators to play more into the hands, and they don't want to give them the Nook. This is really fascinating. The same defender ban of Valkyrie's coming out, but Cade is left in instead of the Azami, which is very, very crucial. Both teams lent into the Azami on their defense. That takes away a lot of flexibility.
Isn't that strange here, Mandy, that Gladiators, who are the ones that lost the game and in theory would need to adapt their playstyle, are the ones who have done the exact same operator bans as yesterday when these two teams played. Gladiators banning out Flores and Valkyrie. It's Wolves who have completely changed their attack. They've gone away from Mav and Kaid and gone onto the Nook and Azami. It's strange. Like, for Wolves, you won that game, right? And yet they think that they can do even better if they change up their bans.
Optimizing at every little step of the way, even though they came out on top. I don't mind that from the Wolves. I think that they've done their prep going into this. They've read into the fact that Gaimin Gladiators might be using the Nook as the crutch. They've read into the fact that Gaimin Gladiators always use the Azami on every single one of the defenses, no matter what. And taking that away from them definitely puts a stunt in that scrapbook.
If anything, the operator veto is a cause for concern for the already concerned Gladiators, who were not able to win the last engagement, and now they're sticking to their guns. They're going for the exact same op bans Fortunately, though, we see Rick's pounce on the fact that Maverick is available. Wolves banned it last time. Now he gets to have a bit of a play.
One other crucial thing as well is that Hoven has hopped on the Jackal now. Last time we saw the Wolves' defense, their roam was absolutely fierce. It really stunted the Gaimin Gladiators, but this time, the enabling of that Jackal scanner might speed up this process for the Gladiators, and look at them. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the round, and they're already boots in the building.
Wait a second, what's this? Is this a playing to die position for P4? He's off in small tower, and, well, his footsteps haven't been tracked as of yet. Surely Gladiators check for this. Indeed, the Yana does see it. Oh, for the backstab! Up air was so quick on the trigger finger there, and P4's attempted roam shut down very early.
And Hoven now making his way into Attic as well, opening up the hatch, trying to cut off any more roamers, and can actually scan the boots of the Jaeger playing inside of Attic. Oh wow, that is very crucial roamer, but the walls are reinforced. He can't get the wall bang off, and now he's about to be met by 2 defenders on the back. Says
oh my God!
It's perfect from Rix.
What a kick-off for Gladiators. They are looking so nasty on this basement attack. 2 opening picks. Now, Pengu, he casted the last time these teams played, and he told us that P4 was a menace roaming, particularly in tower. When Gladiators were attacking, he always was there to backstab. Gladiators wasted so much time clearing him. Wolves were always able to clean up on the site. And now we're not seeing that whatsoever. Gladiators on their roam clear, picture perfect.
Absolutely, they've read into that tower clear. Hook, line, and sinker of that grenade. That's Manic's favorite line, and it is now my favorite as well for the Gaimin Gladiators. Now they're starting to make their way towards the bomb site with plenty of time left to go. An entire minute, 3 more players left to find, and still some utility in their hands to clear out any of these pesky banshees that might be stopping them from getting into the bomb site.
If there's anything that Wolves have to go off here, they have the mirror and the smoke, as well as the shield that the smoke's playing behind. That's some strong anchor positions. But are they going to be ready to receive? Oh, a bit of a damage done from Mowgli. But Gladiator's not yet on for the push. And there goes through. Mowgli flashed. Surely he won't survive. Up there to take down Bibu. It is a slaughterhouse here in the server. What a way to kick it off for the Indonesians. Flawless.
We doubted them at the beginning with those operator bans. We thought, oh, they haven't changed much, but in fact, they have changed absolutely everything about that attacking push. That was fast. That was confident. Everything about that tower clear was mwah, chef's kiss. It was perfect. It was amazing from the Gaimin Gladiators, and that is exactly what we want to see going into this rematch.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Is this really coming down to like counter-strategy, coming down to the prep? It's, man, I don't know. It's not like they're completely... I can't put this into words, right? I guess the simplest way to look at it is, at face value, Gladiators aren't radically changing anything. They're not radically changing the operators that they're picking. They're not radically changing the operators they're banning. In fact, those have stayed exactly the same, like we've said time and time again. But what has changed is the results. Last time these teams played, there were flawless rounds, but few and far between. There was one flawless attack on the basement by Gladiators last time, which looked a little similar to that one. But... are Wolves going to be able to fight back? That's my question. Because Wolves, you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for them. They have been losing games here in their groups. And if they continue to drop some, they are at risk of losing a playoff spot.
Now we are going to Kids and Dorms, and just looking at the previous lineup from the last match they played, it doesn't seem like the Wolves are changing their philosophy on this particular defense. It's exactly the same lineup, playing P4 in Big Tower once again. It's something that the Gladiators have seen before. Now we've seen the Gladiators, they know how to deal with things that they've seen before. They proved that to us in this last round, but can they do it again? Ape into Big Tower with the Ying, perfect example of it.
Nice and early. But P4's on for a roam, and he's gone all the way downstairs. Will he be hunted down? Will he be cut off? He's so far separated from the bomb site. He's got a C4, so in the late round, he could be deadly. Hoven's already made his way into Armory. Soft floor there. If P4 can get into Garage and has the information, Hoven may well be a dead man.
P4 sneaking his way up the laundry stairs. Gladiators don't seem to know Hoven taking a bit of a dangerous peek through the trophy door. Shots do connect, but the Gaimin Gladiators, they're starting to make some small progress, and we can see Rix now. He's got his hands on that Maverick torch, starting to get open Attic. Now, this is something that is in the hands of the Gladiators that they didn't have before. Us from Apex South, we know Rix, he's very, very competent on the Maverick. He does some absolute demon work with this. He really does.
He's drawn a bit of a funny face there, I've got to say. But yeah, that's a huge difference maker this time around. The Maverick in the hands of Rix. Wolves not banning it out. Perhaps a mistake on their part. If Gladiators are able to pinch out this pit position, it'll afford them so much control into this execute.
Ooh, the Gladiators, though, they start to come to life. Rise and Mowgli going down. P4 as well. That flank is not successful as Rix will shut him down.
Spring into action for both teams, leaving just Bibu and Shinka, two OGs of the scene, left together as the French band up. They need to get this advantage back on their side. There's so much time for the attack, it means they can't wait to get going here for the Wolves. Time is not on their side. They need to make a play. I like this aggressive retake from Shinka into the closet, but it looks like GG are completely rotating. They know that they've got time and they're going to use it.
Joe, though, he's been down outside of the double window with the kit as well, forcing Tolji to get off his position, go over and try and pick up his teammate. That's the last Goyo canister going off exactly where the kit is as well. GG, have they miscalculated? Is it all for nothing if they can't get into the bomb site?
I can see a world where Shinka and Bibu can clutch this up, but Ape may well be the player to put that thought to bed, but he has been himself silenced. Shinka on for the long angle. Could this be a 2v4? Bibu once again, and this is gonna be it. Rix, the Maverick, the last one left remaining, but the Wolves have put this out of their misery. And Gladiators, I just cannot believe they fumbled the ball. The Wolves, what a comeback.
Unbelievable from the Gaimin Gladiators. They were in such a great position to take that round, but Joe going down outside the double window with the diffuser really stunted their execute plan. They had to rotate all of their players down to what was the critical part of that push, and that was getting the bomb down. And that being cold on the ground outside, there was just no more time with that Goyo canister going off for them to make that execute work.
And what excellent positioning from the two remaining Wolves players as well. So well thought. Bieber to hard hold that key position to watch both Attic and the big window jump inside a kid's dorms, but then it was P4 as well. Actually, it wasn't P4. Shinko to retake into the closet, play an advantageous angle, holding on to Pit as well. So well played from Wolves, and we're tied up here on the scoreline. As you can see at the bottom of your screens, the probability of each team going to playoffs is vastly different, and the most notable there is if Gladiators lose in regulation, their hope of playoffs is dead. If Wolves win in regulation, quite the contrary, they're nearly locked, 81%. Even if Gladiators can take down Wolves here in a regulation victory, their chances of making playoffs are slim.
The Wolves, they will take us up to their tertiary bomb site instead, kitchen and meeting, as the rest of the Gaimin Gladiators shape up to take the map. Big Tower seems to be the first point of contest. They've done this a few times now, and they're looking much more confident on it compared to the last time we saw them play this exact matchup. The rest of the Wolves, though, just holding onto this ground floor. It looks relatively conservative. It's not big and extended or anything like that. They're just holding onto what they can. One player on each bomb site, a small hold in the top floor, but it's not too dedicated.
A lot of work to be done, but this is good control here for GG. Attic already opened up. Starting to get some vertical angles as well. Ooh, bit of pressure there, right onto that player in meeting. Bibu feeling a bit worse for wear, and he falls back. Actually going to rotate one of his mid jammers. Nice positioning there to protect the walls in meeting that face into lobby. But you can see very clearly from our POV that Gladiators will be focusing their push on this big tower.
This is a very minimalist take for the Gladiators. They're not willing to go through that entire map clear, and they're consolidating all of their resources to just taking meeting and just holding on Attic, getting ready for the retake. Meanwhile, Hoven on the other side, with the aid of the ace charges, could make some waves through these meeting reinforcements, although one has been jammed off.
But the Thatcher is there from Joe. That EMP might enable a breach here from the Selmas. Is the peak going to come through from the Z hallway? Hoven is holding the angle, can't quite land that shot that's needed. And the breach, at least a line of sight, has been opened up.
The Wolves are still holding on to their place, but Mowgli, he's been able to sneak his way all the way into Classroom. Does Hoven know? It seems like he does. He doesn't want to over-peak this. It's so passive right now, waiting for Mowgli to make his move.
Mowgli, star player for the Wolves, topped the scoreboard in the previous round.
The rest of Gladiators, though, they look like they're going to shape up for the execute.
Oh my God!
No, but Bibu to take down Joe.
How far away is this execute realistically? Because now they're going at it at a 4v5. Joe taken down. Strong positions taken by the Wolves players as they hold on to this site. An advanced position as well. Who is that? Is that P4 in the site? It is. Right around the corner as Ape finds one. Immediately traded back. Ape for the double. Now P4, can he be silenced? Hoven comes in from behind with another double. And the Wolves put all their hopes onto their newest player, Mowgli, who is caught out. A 3-piece for Hoven. Ape to make it a full house, and Gladiators once again in the lead.
Ape made such a pivotal push through Attic there. We saw him with the outlines. He was running his way down Attic because he went, all right, these Wolves players, they're going to start going for that retake. I actually want this hatch as the place that I can play. I want to be able to look into it and shoot any plays behind the sandbags, behind the rotate, but he knows that before he can do that, he needs to clear those top floor roamers. And perfectly read by Ape to push in and cut off any of the roamers trying to retake that space early, enabled the rest of his team to get into the site. Even though there was a player on stage, they could be shut down, they could be traded because they had so much pressure on the hatch in that top floor and Attic.
Wolves have been pushed here once again, as they were in the previous match against Gladiators. Not something that the Wolves were familiar with in the EUL. They were unreal in Stage 2. After the first playday, they were tied third, but, I mean, let's be frank, like, after playday 1, doesn't tell you much. Every single other playday, 8 playdays in a row, Wolves were in first place. They never dropped out.
5 seconds.
They were, by far and away, the best team in Europe throughout this entire quarter. Unfortunately, though, they seem to be a bit land cursed. Charlotte Major were unable to make the playoffs. No doubt they set their sights after their phenomenal EUL stage on making playoffs here in Berlin. But it hasn't been quite so easy as they'd hoped.
Now, I just want to cast our minds back once again to this basement defense. It doesn't look like Wolves are changing their philosophy once again. The exact same lineup is being brought out from them. On the side of GG, we can see the use of this Jackal. This is just so incredibly fast. It gets faster every single time this roam clear. GG, they've clearly voted out this Wolves push. Even P4 is doing the exact same thing in Big Tower. I can only imagine that GG have something up their sleeve to deal with this.
Well, Pengu told us that P4 was such a menace in that tower position. Look at this extended mirror window. Position nullified now, surely, by the buck above. Oh, Hoven, I believe, on the Jackal with the shoddy above to open up the hatch. Mowgli, an aggressive play. Up the white stairs, finds one. Does he trade positions with Rise, who's taking the fight through the floor? The 50 cal on the Uzi does a lot of damage, but still not enough to take Hoven down, as Mowgli can retreat back to site.
I think Mowgli's retreat was actually open for him. That hatch ended up being cleared away by Hoven, trying to play some of that vertical. Now, though, GG, they've been given up this ground floor. All the rest of the Wolves have fallen off, bar P4, who is still in Big Tower. Actually, this is feeling like a bit of a repeat, Dev. Yeah. GG haven't dealt with this yet.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to say this before when I was rudely interrupted by Mowgli, but Pengu really nailed it into us that P4 on T3 of Tower was so hard to clear for GG. My question, are they going to try and clear him, or are they going to hold his flank?
And this is just such pressure coming up from P4. GG, they have to constantly be on their tail. Thankfully, they have one player dead in Ape to at least watch that flank drone, keep a keen eye on him while the rest of GG try and hit the site.
But where is that site hit going to come from is my question. It's a lot easier said than done to execute onto this bomb site. No less, especially when there's Mirror on the board. When one of your players is low HP, there's no Ying to utilize. How are they going to make this work?
Seems like a blue bunk push will be the option that GG will take. The path of actually quite a lot of resistance. Shinka still with one more smoke babe in his hand and only 30 seconds left to go for GG.
And here comes Tolji down the rear stairs, straight through the barbed wire. The Wolves know about it. He's being live droned, and the call meets Mowgli. Immediately, though, Shinka inside a blue bunker. He's holding on. Tolji goes straight into the side. Are they going to be able to take him out from inside elbow? The plan is going down, and the flashes go out to cover. But Tolji must be relied upon here to cover that planter. The plant does go down, but the Wolves on for the retake. 3 players still up. Just Joe left. And the retake is well and truly on for the French, as they can once again tie the scoreline.
disabled by defenders.
P4 slipping through the chaos in that retake. Just as the Gaimin Gladiators going for their execute, the comms, they're flooded, they're chaotic. No one is going to hit up by calling, guys, the flank is coming now. The tower flank is coming now. There's nobody there to deal with that as they all try and push an onslaught onto the site. Some excellent timing from the players of the Wolves, holding onto their positions for dear life and doing a big 3-2-1 swing for that retake onto the planet. It was just perfect from them.
Perfect timing. Exactly what Wolves needed. No doubt there'd be a bit of frustration to lose to Gladiators. I mean, realistically, after these two teams went head-to-head the previous time, going back to the same map, who's favoured, right? Is it Wolves, who are the more experienced team, more likely to be able to... I mean, not only more experienced, but I'll say they have more resources, right? Like, they've got quite the support staff team, or such a well-renowned organisation as Wolves backing them. Or is it going to be GG, who look back and think, okay, we could have done this better, we could have done that better, these are our mistakes, this is why we lost, we fix that and we get going. Who's more likely to win on the rematch?
Only time can tell. This seems like almost a repeat of the previous simulation, if you will. It just seems like back and forth once again. That's the name of this game. That was the name of the last game as well here on Oregon. I did it right. Go me.
You said Oregon. You didn't say Oregon. Are you sure you don't want to say Oregon? Twitch chat loves it. I bet you they do.
I bet they
Either
do.
that or they're triggered. You know, there's no in between. You love it or you hate it. I, for one, love Oregon.
P4, he's going to be sitting in the top of T3, supported by his friend and Rise. Now, last time, Ape was very quick to get this control. We saw him do it with the Ying. We've seen them do it with nades many times, and they're actually looking to contest it once again. Rix and Ape to make some double trouble trying to clear out P4.
At this point, like, do you just ignore him? You can't ignore him because he flanks
No.
you like you did last round. So how do you clear him? I mean, this vert nade is a nice idea, but he's now moved from that corner.
Uh-oh. Gaimin Gladiators, what is your plan? And the plan seems to be to give it up after all. They've decided not to clear him. That could come back to bite them, as we've seen in the previous attempt. Actually, the Wolves are holding on to this walk-in wardrobe with an open rotate. If the Gaimin Gladiators aren't careful, they aren't watching that, we've seen Shinka do some pretty incredible things, making his way through that closet and trying to go for the play later into the round.
Perhaps if they focus the site, they might be able to find an opening. Aggressive play. Look at that C4. Having lucky to stay alive after that one. And then a shallow nade to reply. Might do a bit of damage, but no. Wolves are just fine. And Mowgli, once again, aggressively playing this position.
They love this rotate. It really came back to bite the Gaimin Gladiators last time. Oh, a bit of a prone to try and dodge that Hoven. He's got a nade cooked in his hand, but I don't think it's going to connect. Whoa, my goodness! And Mowgli's able to take the fight onto him as well, getting a little bit aggressive. The Gaimin Gladiators, and now they're down in the man count.
Yeah, Wolves looking well in control of this one. P4 jumps back into it. Joe maybe has something to say for his team, but told you he's got to help out before too long because Mowgli is going to rotate back into Master and easy as you like. The young gunner once again.
That hold inside the closet is just so dangerous. It really is. For the Gaimin Gladiators, they get to that wall and they go, oh, hang on. It's open. What do we do about it? We're just going to walk away from it. You can't do that. You need to hold on to that position because at any point, you're going to have that shotgun player, that SMG-11, oh so dangerous, pushing through and backstabbing you at any time. They have to force a player to deal with that position. And that's the name of this Wolves defense. Every part of this Wolves defense is a toss-up between should we deal with it or should we ignore it and then deal with it later. At one point, you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
That is the Wolves defense. At one point, you have to. It's just about finding the time to do it, and that's why the Wolves are so dangerous on this map.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that round P4 ended up getting a late round kill anyway. So
Yep.
They ignored him, and he came back to bite them. So it's a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. What do you think they should do? I mean, I'm pretty hard to call. I feel like they need to address him. They need to take him out.
Well, what we've seen is the 2 rounds that they've won is because they faced the challenge head-on and tried to solve it. The first round where they won was because they had an incredible nade and jackal combination to flush him out of position. The second round they won was exactly the same. They did really great on the roam clear. But as soon as they decide to ignore the problem, it all really falls apart for the Gaimin Gladiators.
And that just shows the strength of Wolves. Something that they seem phenomenal at is the timings on these flanks. I mean, P4 in particular. They might only have 4 kills in the game, but every one of them has been not only impactful, but so skillful as well.
Whoopsies, the drones collide for the Gaimin
Speaking of
Gladiators.
skillful.
Only one of them ends up going through. Told you will end up taking Big Tower first, the entry to go in alongside RP. Now, last time we saw the Gaimin Gladiators attack this particular bomb site, it was very minimalist. They just went straight for the meeting wall, opened that up, and tried to go for the XU, and it worked out very well for them in the end as well, except that the Wolves able to retake about... Oh no, actually, this is the one that RP pushed in. This was not the retake.
It was an almost retake.
It was an almost retake, but in the end, because they had that top floor control, it worked out for them. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, seems to be what the Gaimin Gladiators are going for.
Yeah, and for Wolves, strange that they're not reinforcing this attic wall at all. I guess they don't think it's worth it, and it's just going to get breached open by the Therm. But they are having some kind of contest upstairs. Rise was over in pit, but you can see Hoven is the linchpin, the pince, alongside Upper and Joe taking from tower side to get this attic control. And Rise, oh, he's actually forfeited back, fallen into trophy. And that does mean that pit's clear right now, as Upper has just discovered.
Ooh, Mowgli and Rise, though, they are trying to double down on the sole player just outside of the lobby. That's Hoven. He's decided to give this up. Just perceived pressure is all that Hoven needs to give RP space. Now it's actually Tolji playing in this top floor, in this attic, waiting for the retake to come through, and he reads that perfectly.
What a gunfight there. That could have been a round-winning play for Rise, but he is shut down. Big one for Tolji. Mowgli looking for an aggressive peak of his own. Are Wolves really going to rely on these aggressive plays? Is it going to work out? Because you can see how aware Hoven is.
Well, all that Hoven needed to do here was put a little bit of pressure onto the Wolves to give space for the rest of the team. Now, that's exactly what he did in the last round as well, except this time he's changing it up just a little bit. But it doesn't work out. P4 is able to land the shots, but RP is there for the trade. There for two, even.
Well, this is one way to go for it. It's a retake from Wolves before the plan is even a twinkle in Rix's eye. And now 4v2 for GG. That puts them in such an advantage. And the plan is going to go down in just a moment. Surely Mowgli, though, could be the playmaker. He's in meeting. He's just waiting for the fickle sound call of that plan to go through. The onus is on Rix. Gladiators have left this so late. And that gives an opportunity for one of the best players we have seen to clutch up. It's now a 1v1. Bibu's already found his kill for the round, but he's going to have to double it up to take down Upper. He knows that that plan's going down. SMG 11 in the long range. What is that? You talk about him, Bibu.
That was such an incredible clutch there from Bibu. SMG 11 in hand, all the way through the rotate to the back of the stage. That was a crazy shot to hit. Even crazier from Mowgli in the back of the sandbags. GG. They just left it so late. They hadn't droned out where Mowgli was. He shot the drone in the corner, but they couldn't clear him out. No nade connected, none of the shots connected, and the Wolves, they hang on for another round.
With that, they win the half as well. A 4-2 split. Very reminiscent of the previous time these teams played. It was a defense start for Wolves, and they went 4-2. So, I mean, it's once again the same old story. Gladiators managed to get 4 of their own defenses last time and push overtime. And then Wolves won it with a couple of attacks of their own and defenses as well. This is, I mean, it's so hard to split because for the most part, it just feels like we're watching the same game again, Mandy.
It really does. It absolutely does. Now the Gaimin Gladiators, they're going to take us down to the laundry and supply bomb site. RP will be the one playing the Arini, setting up the laser gates where he wants them to be. How opening up this freezer as well, it seems like the Gaimin Gladiators, they are going to go for a little bit of an extended roam. It's not too much. It's aided by some of those mute jammers upstairs, a few reinforcements dedicated as well to meeting, as well as the meeting hatch being opened up. I don't mind this from the Gaimin Gladiators. They need to press the attack onto the Wolves because, as we've seen, the Wolves, they're just so proficient at this map.
And Wolves also like getting early map control. You can see it with the Amaru ready to get into tower. With a moment's notice, Shinka to drone it up. Wolves also taking from the master side as well. Is Shinka just going to drone it, see it clear, and go straight on in? He could get timed here if Huffin goes back. Ooh, he spotted a drone. That's a big one.
little tense in this early round. The Wolves, they're not the type of team to make a mistake, and so they want to be very careful on this entry, knowing that Gaimin Gladiators are looking for this roam. But it's Mowgli to take down Arpe, the entry, of course, of Wolves. He comes to show up in this lobby.
A big pick for Mowgli. He's stepped up in these last few rounds. And Gladiators on this extended roam need to make it count, because so far it's looked shaky. Joe falls back to sight down the meeting hatch. Hoven soon to follow by the looks of it. Mowgli, he's still alive, but quickly taken down by Hoven, who grabs that kill and retreats back to sight. It's even 4-4.
We're in an even Steven, it seems like. And there is still some utility in the hands of the Wolves. However, 1 minute and 30 seconds left still gives them plenty of time to decide what they are going to do next. Now, the rest of the Gaimin Gladiators, they've decided to fall back onto the site. They're not playing this roam anymore. They've said, Hoven, you've done the goods, you've done fine, just come back and play this pillar position now. And they're pretty comfortable holding on to what they can. Now, will they rear up elbow or not? I don't know. It depends what the Wolves are going to go for, and depends if Gaimin Gladiators can hold on to that composure on the side.
Well, you can see Wolves are still finally confirming that the roam is clear. Drones go out, and it looks like they're going to have 1 minute to prepare for the execute. Fortunately for Wolves, these hatches have already been opened for them, so that saves them quite a bit of time.
Well, the thing is, not only do Wolves have 1 minute to prepare for this execute, GG are actually holding on to 2 reinforcements in their pocket at the moment to try and close off some points of entry once they figure out what Wolves are going for. There we go. It's happening right now. One of the reinforcements has just gone down. They're trying to adapt some of the setup, closing off this back angle now, anticipating that there might be a late flank coming down the back stairs.
Bibu, he's the one with the diffuser, and he's shaping up on this electrical hatch. Surely this is where the push will come from.
It certainly seems like it. Both Joe and Hoven to double down in this hallway. They're going to fall off. They don't want to give away their lives just yet, waiting for the onslaught of the execute.
But here's the position from Tolji. The flashbang is good. Is it good enough? He's still alive, and he's still in blue, ready to stab Wolves right in the back. But the smoke keeps them at bay. Bibu finds the entry. That was needed, and Wolves fall to pieces. It's been all Ricks on the site, and now Shinka shut out. Gaimin Gladiators with a swift reply.
Beautifully played from the Gaimin Gladiators as well. They were all on the same page in that execute there. I was waiting for them to see if they could retain that composure as the execute came through, and they absolutely did. They read into the fact that it would be a backtake. So they reinforced off that solar wall. Great job. That's one of the checklists. Not only that, but because they reinforced that off and gave them the pillar space, they decided to all fall back together. We saw Hoven in combination with Joe fall back into the site, into that hallway. Same thing with Tolji. He didn't want to hold on to pillar anymore, so he said, I'm going to take the free space in blue and hold on to it, wait for that hatch drop. It was as if they gave Wolves a gift and made Wolves feel like they had that estate, but it was all just a trap, and they fell straight into it.
I mean, who would have expected this humble old team from Southeast Asia, from Indonesia no less, the region that has just about never been represented on the major stage, with the exception of one player, Joe, who used to play for Invictus. I mean, we've never seen a full Indonesian team at a major before until this. And who would have thought that they would be taking it to some of the best teams from some of the major regions, some of the most esteemed regions? You got players like Bibu. I mean, how many events has Bibu played at? How many lands? How many championships in France has he won? And Gladiators are keeping pace.
It is just such an incredible thing that we are witnessing. Wolves as well. They've been so dominant in their group. They've had an incredible major so far. Whereas for the Gladiators, they've had it rough. They've had it really, really rough. But somehow, they seem to be the kryptonite of the Wolves. It's just, they're really taking it back and forth. It's just something about them in the air.
They refuse to die. They refuse to go down easy. And the Wolves will now attempt an attack upstairs onto dorms. Shaping up for a bit of control of tower. Bibu to live drone in rise. Now there's a roamer below. Tolji in the basement. Upper as well in meeting. Might meet Mowgli eventually, who's found his way into garage. Mowgli certainly has found him.
Well, I think the Arpe isn't just going to be met by Mowgli. The Wolves, they're coming in from everywhere. There's big tower push. There's a garage push. There are people in small tower as well. Arpe is about to be in a 3-way pinch for this roam clear if he doesn't realize it soon enough.
Now there is some support from Kitchen, but that's being held by Mowgli at the moment as well. So Wolves, they know exactly how to take this, but Arpe! He says it doesn't matter if you know, because I know better, and I trust My SMG, P4 does manage to make it even though. And all of that good work that Ape did has been squished out. Rix, though, fortunately able to find his own pick, putting Wolves in a position of loss. A 2v3 now for them as P4 confirms the downed Ape. But this is not what they wanted.
Ape, what an incredible hold-in meeting that was. He finds the first pick and turns 90 degrees. He finds the second. He's going to need a protractor to check all those angles, Dev. I'm telling you what.
You're
he's
such
just
a
doing.
nerd.
Am I a nerd? I feel like these guys are just doing so on the server. They just deserve the full nerd out of this cast. They really do. Now, the 2-on-3 situation. We've seen GG in this 3-man before, and they are so disciplined. They were on this basement, and will they be on the top floor? We've seen Wolves. They can certainly come back when they need to. GG, they can't give anything away.
They really can't. It's about to be even. If Gladiators cook through this round, speak of cooking, good nade, but it's not quite enough. P4 actually takes damage himself from that. A bit overcooked and a bit burnt, as Wolves seem to be in this round as well. 2v3, it's going to be desperate. We've seen a 2v4 from the Wolves, but it was a very different situation. They were on the defense, and it was Gladiators who outplayed themselves. Now Wolves have to find something from nothing. They've got the info on the player in the corner, and Shinka wants to jump in, but he knows he's going straight into a crossfire, and that probably means his death. GG just have to hold on, and it's a taunt as well. P4's got to have an impact because Shinka, his options are limited. P4 shut out, runs through the smoke. The Gladiators know about it. This is surely it. There's no way P4 can win this, and the timer is his worst enemy. Gladiators come back, and we're even 4 rounds apiece.
Back and forth and back and forth, Dev. This game is never going to end. I'll tell you what, we're going to be here for an eternity. GG and Wolves battling out here in Oregon.
It just feels like we're barreling towards an 8-7 once again, and I couldn't tell you who it's going to be for. But for some strange reason, this bottom seed team from APAC is dead even with the #1 seed from Europe.
This is such an odd game. It really is. It feels like an optimization of the previous simulation. You know what I mean? You know when you like create a bot for you and you run it over and over again, each time it learns something new, and then anyway, whatever.
I'm just creating bots all the time. You know, I'm all about creating my own little bots and optimizing them on the I don't know. I'm not a programmer. I don't know what I'm talking about. You're the engineer.
Gaimin Gladiators, they're going to take us to
You're
meeting.
not having any of it today, are you?
No, not today. Gaimin Gladiators take us to meeting and kitchen, looking to do an extended hold up in the top floor, dedicating a couple reinforcements over on closet, over inside of the lower attic as well. Also dedicating the walls and I told you to try and shut out some of those areas. I can only assume going on closet, yeah, they really want to hold on to this top floor.
One thing that's kind of strange about this for me, I mean, Kaid is in, previously banned by Wolves when these teams played each other, but this time it's not. They could have gone the Kaid instead and got just as much wall denial, but it'd been harder to see. Perhaps Tolji just wants the 3 speed, wants the MP7.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. Speedy boy.
Wolves will start to shape up their push onto this tertiary bomb site. P4 looking to do his Hoven impression as he puts the pressure onto lobby, while the rest of the Wolves go for a very, very simplistic take into the site. They've just droned it out. There's nobody here. Rix, oh, thank goodness. He's reclaimed the space and looking after the site.
Yeah, but not before 2 ADSs were taken down. You can see Joe like, oh, if we're missing ADSs, that's going to put even more stake into my discs.
You know that meme of the guy with the duct tape that like slams the tank
slams it on the
to
leak?
stop the water from leaking out of the tank? That's what it felt like when he just threw out those 2 my charges. Mowgli, though, he's trying to make his way into the site, has been smoked out of his position. The breach is already open, though, and Wolves, they have plenty of time to choke out these anchors.
Oh, here we go. Easily burning the Wamai Magnet is Mowgli with his Gon 6 and a nade to follow through. Will take down the shield, surely. Is there something else protecting it? The second nade should get it. Thank you, easy. There you go. But Rick survives, and Joe as well in this corner. Mowgli doesn't have a nade to toss to the drone hole, but he does have the ability to just walk up. Apparently. Wants to go for it. Wants to find a pick. Wants to get aggressive. You can see he's being held at bay as if by a leash. But you just wait for the moment where he's let off, and he will unleash.
But this is just so dangerous for Gaimin Gladiators. They only have so much utility to stop the smoke from the Wolves, and that's exactly what the Wolves need. Taking down Rix, taking down your last smoke canister to stop the onslaught of the attack.
Wolves are on for the hunt now, hunting to retake the lead in this series. They've spotted out the flanking Ape, and they're going to rely on Mowgli. Joe is the power player here for GG, and Wolves need to take him out. What is that? Once again, Mowgli. He howls on through. Ape on for a flank. It's a quad kill for Mowgli. But thanks to Ape's flank, it's a 1v2. Hoven is not going to get it done because Mowgli is so damn good. Yet another ace in the Berlin Major.
It feels like every single game we've seen some big plays come out from every single team. Aces, back-to-back, clutches, and Mowgli has been one of the standout MVPs. As we went into this major, we've prefaced, this guy is one of the beasts in this tournament, and he is showing us that exactly here, right now. It is crazy.
How does he do it? And how has everyone done it? Mandy, what have they put in the water here? Something about the Berlin Major. Every single game, there feels like there's an ace or a 4K or a 1v3 or a 1v4. What has been going on? Has everyone just been absolutely cracked out of nowhere? Is it a meta change? Is it just that we've been treated to some of the best siege we have in quite some time? I couldn't tell you, but Mowgli, he is not having any of it.
That being said, I don't think we can understate what Ape was almost about to achieve in that round as well. That big tower flank, that went completely unnoticed by the Wolves. Only Mowgli was able to turn around and kill him as part of the ace, of course. And that could have spelt disaster for the Wolves, but in the end, it doesn't work for the Gaimin Gladiators. Now, if Rhythm were to go into this game, if the trend were to continue, the Gaimin Gladiators would be able to take this one back and we'd be back even again. So there's nothing to take away from either team. Every single round seems to come close. Every single round there seems to be a big playmaker, and it all just comes down to the timing of when that play happens.
And often, who is the name on our lips? And more often than not, for Wolves, it's Mowgli. He's only been on this team for 3 months. 19 years of age, one of the youngest players at the tournament. And we can always rely on him to deliver the goods.
Wolves will start out on this roam clear for the basement attack, of course. Gaimin Gladiators, they are looking for a slightly extended roam, but not as dedicated as the last time that they defended this. They have pulled back a little bit. More players over in the tower side. It's slightly easier to fall back there. They don't have to play the tussle that they originally did when they were inside of meeting. Hoven, he's prepped a C4, anticipating that someone may come and clear him. Oh, he's just gotten on his drone. Mowgli, he's just round the corner. Will the C4 be perfect? Hoven just holding it in his hand now.
It's a waiting game. Shoots out the drone. Doesn't use the C4, actually decides better to play it safe. Maybe that is the right idea against a player like Mowgli, but again, if you do land that C4, if you do take him out, it's a huge sigh of relief. It's one of the deadliest players in the server taken down. Wolves have a lot to fight for right now. They haven't had as dominant performance in this group as they'd expected. They already lost in regulation to W7M from Brazil. And now this French roster must salvage as many points as possible from GG. Even just one more round is another point on the board.
Now, the last time that these guys faced off directly on this map, the hardest thing for Gaimin Gladiators to do was shut down Mowgli. Each round they were able to do that was converted into a round win. And so far, that hasn't been achieved yet for them. All the hatches are open for the Wolves. It's looking like big promise on this execute. A minute left to go. Lots of planning to be done. It could be over for the Gaimin Gladiators.
Well, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and I don't hear any singing just yet, Mandy. Wolves as well, not even on match point yet. There's still a chance that GG win this in regulation, but it'll have to be 3 rounds in a row. Tolji keeping the angry monster outside blue at bay as this French behemoth starts to settle their way into an execute.
Only 30 seconds left, an EMP to go out, try to shut down any of that utility that might be left on the site and stopping the Wolves from getting in. Ape, he's in a bit of a tricky situation. Flashes go in, but they don't connect.
Oh, but it's Mowgli once again. Ape to find one! And Ape is the better of the two. Immediately traded back, but the damage has been done. And GG have the round. P4 now in a 1v4, and it is surely not gonna happen. Another good round for GG as they once again tie the scoreline. We are at break point. 5 rounds apiece.
The cycle of life and death continues, Dev. We are now back in an even Steven. 5-5. Match point on the cards for either one of these teams. And once again, the name on our lips, Ape and Mowgli, placed side by side in every engagement, every gunfight. It always seems to come down to these two.
You can barely separate these two teams with a razor blade, and the same goes for the 2-star players on each roster. Mowgli, 13 kills. Ape, 14 kills. And both of them so impactful. The number of multi-kills, you know, just casually Mowgli getting an ace. The number of clutches, the number of impact plays. This series, this fixture, GG and Wolves, are starting to go down as quite a bit of a rivalry. Never have they versed until this tournament. Now we've seen both of their encounters have been slobber knockers, unreal matches, barn burners. You name it, it applies.
5 seconds to go.
Now let's take us up to kids and dorms. Looking for a roam down here in the ground floor. Ape is being aided by the Oryx. Now, having this Oryx in his hand is very important. It does allow him to make that rotate back up to the site through the hatch if he needs to. Not only that, but he can get back up through attic as well. He could get back up through garage if they're doing a front master take. We have to keep an eye on Ape on this roam if he holds out on his life, and it doesn't seem like Wolves are going for the same bottom-up take to try and clear him out this time.
I'm keeping a keen eye on Mowgli. It always seems to be multi-kills. He's had 3 multi-kills this game. Ape has had 5 multi-kills this game. Previous time they played, of course, it was those two with some of the most multi-kills in the game as well. If one of those players is shut down early before he finds a pick, I mean, the chances of the team winning goes down significantly.
Now, this is a totally different attack philosophy coming out from Wolves. Last time we saw them go for a map clear, it was bottom up, clear out those roamers. This time it's very direct. Hoven, getting a little bit brave on that peak with the shotgun. Mowgli to try and connect in a grenade, but Hoven is well and truly gone.
And back again. Sees the drone, is able to shoot it. Fakes a C4 it, baiting out the player. Quite a significant distinction between how these two teams play this site, though. You can see fully reinforced is the game's wall. And keen for a peek once again. Mowgli's got to be careful. Don't hold out a nade when you know there's a player on the other side. Hoven, though, feeling under pressure now. The breach is open and he has to make a decision. Get aggro or fall back.
Hoven is about to be in a world of trouble. Bad times are coming his way.
Oh my
He's
God.
trying to go for something desperate, but Mowgli, he's able to clean up. Joe, he's there for the trade, though.
And that is Mowgli shut down, the most dangerous player that Wolves have to offer. They're going to have to rely on the rest of them, but P4, he's been such an impact player. Bibu's had his fair share of clutches as well. It's not over till it's over, but whoever wins this round gets the match point.
Bomb located by attacker.
Rise, he's deeply holding on to this attic hold right now. The Wolves, they look like they're ready to pounce at any second, just waiting for this final smoke canister to go off, and boom, that could be their invitation into the bomb site.
Take a deep breath. It's all about timing. Shinka and P4 to work together. Rise to hold from the breach as Gladiators wait patiently. Is it a nade to go through? Just 30 seconds left. You can't wait forever, Wolves. You've got to make it play, and Rise is the first one inside. Immediately there's a reply from Rix. It's a 3v3, but the battle doesn't stop until it is over. Told you, you've got to land the fight, but Bibu's there to once again even the man count. The plant has got to go down from Shinka. The cover has got to be there. What are you doing up here? What are you doing, Bibu? Rix has got it. But the plant's not down, and Shinka has to look for the kill. Rix puts Gladiators onto match points.
Rix, I cannot believe what he's just been able to achieve on the anchor there. It all looked like it was going to fall apart for the Gaimin Gladiators. That onslaught through the breach was perfectly timed, perfectly traded. The plant almost went down, but Rix, on the slither of HP, SMG 11 in hand, is able to take down the cover, win out the 1v1 at the end to take match points for the Gaimin Gladiators. Once again, they are still in this game.
And every single round this game, back and forth, Gladiators, Wolves, Gladiators, Wolves, Gladiators, Wolves, and now it is Wolves' turn to fight back, to push for the overtime. They know they can do it. They know they can beat GG. They've done it before. It might have been hard, but it was right here on Oregon. It was an 8-7. And as they call their tactical timeout, Lilian will have to give them the best advice, pull their heads in, and get them prepped and ready for what could be one of the most pivotal rounds of their entire Berlin Major campaign so far.
tactical timeout taken by the Wolves there.
Don't worry, I feel that as well, man. With how this game has gone, I would not be surprised if all 10 players in the server are feeling a bit heebie-jeebie at the minute. A bit yonky-splonky.
A bit yonky-splonky, as we like to say. The Wolves have taken their tactical timeout. They've had a bit of a time to think. They don't want to give away any points to the Gaimin Gladiators. For the Wolves, this is very important for their playoffs run. They can't give away any matches. Gaimin Gladiators, they're down there in the standings. They should not be taking it to the Wolves, who we are saying should be going flying into the playoffs.
Since when is Gladiators a top APAC team? They're only promoted into APAC South 6 months ago. 6 months ago, they were a team called The Last Dance. I believe the name was because it was their last dance, and if they failed to make APAC South, they were going to disband. They've been through all kinds of trials, all kinds of tribulations. Nobody expected them to get top 2 in APAC South. Such a competitive league. Teams like Knights and IG and Elevate fighting for that spot, and GG was the better of them. GG scraped their way into the major. And here they have done some damage. Here they have a chance at winning a regulation match against the Wolves and rocketing up their chances of making it to playoffs.
And what could possibly be the final rounds of this game? Gaimin Gladiators, they're deciding to defend what has to be their tertiary site. This is going to be a tough one. And if Rhythm would tell us, the Wolves would be taking this one back and we'd be going to OT. The Wolves, they're starting their attack on this big tower side, aided by the lurk of people going in from the basement. It's very minimalist. Once again, Dev, over and over again, I've said this for this particular meeting attack. But this time they have a little bit of something up their sleeves. They've got P4 going in from below, anticipating the late round flank.
Meeting Kitchen is the only attack round that Wolves have won this game, the only bomb site. They've failed to attack Laundry, they've failed to attack Kitchen and Dorms. Meeting was the only shining light for them, and that was on the back of an ace from Mowgli. If he's unable to do it, a Wolves going to be unable to push to overtime.
Now, thankfully, these two ADSs are still staying up for the Gaimin Gladiators. They got a little something. They can protect themselves from the nades for a little bit longer this time. That was a big downfall for them previously. A lot of that utility got baited out really, really early as a result of them not being able to hold on to the power positions within the site itself. Now these ADSs are still standing. The burn is coming out much later as well for the Wolves. They must be sitting much more comfortably in the site.
Nice little drone upstairs, though. In Attic, spots out the position. Is Mowgli going to try and nade out that back position? Ape, up has gone down. Taken out by P4. Not sure where that went down. But back onto the Twitch drone now to support his team. Wolves poised. Looking in the best position possible. Rix has been droned out time and time again. How long can he survive in meeting?
And that was very well read from P4. Last time, Ape did the exact same thing. This time, he's shut down for it. That could be the winning thing for the Wolves. That could be mission critical to converting this round.
Mowgli also a critical player. So tempted to push into Kitchen. Here's P4, though. He can't land the shot. Hoven takes him down. Mowgli on for the entry. He's got to land these shots. He finds Hoven. Catches him off guard. And now GG are falling to pieces. The Wolves are hungry, ravenous for overtime. It's all on to Tolji. And it all lies on this flank. FMG in hand. He gets the first one. Bibu goes down. But who else but Mowgli to keep the Wolves alive?
Well, it's only formality at this point, isn't it, Dev, that we're going to overtime? 6-6 is the scoreline. Round 13 about to begin. Gaimin Gladiators, Wolves, it feels like it's never ending. This match, tussle between the two. Oh, what a dogfight this is.
It is. It's brutal. It is incessant. It is desperate. Every round, by the skin of their teeth, by the sheer grit and force of will, Wolves have pushed into overtime. But will they be able to deliver like they did the previous time? When these teams played each other just yesterday, it was Gladiators who were down 6-5 and pushed it into overtime. Now Wolves find themselves out in that position. They have the advantage on their side. But we know what Gladiators are capable of, especially now that they have defense, Mandy. Wolves were never able to win an attack round onto Laundry Supply. They were never able to win an attack round onto Kids Dorms and Dorms Main Hall. They only ever won the Kitchen meeting attacks. So in theory, Gladiators can go back to both of their undefeated sites and win this out in OT.
you stole the words right out of my mouth. This particular defense from the Gaimin Gladiators was by far the most composed one. They looked so dominant on this particular defense, even though all the hatches were open, even though it looked like the Wolves had a grip on the site. They played the retake situation, the things that were adjacent to the site perfectly, and those crossfires, wow, just so great. It was amazing.
It was for GG, but Wolves are the ones who are going to dictate the pace of this round. They've set up for a rush plant, a rush push through blue. They got the blitz from Rise. They did this yesterday against GG, and it did work, even though the blitz was the first one to fall. This time it's the Nomad who goes down early. Shinka shut down by Hoven. Now the plant is going to go down, but look at that, the read! Perfectly placed from GG. They had the Vulcan canister on the barricade, so as soon as it gets gone sixth, Wolves cannot push on through. Now they must wait, and the jig is up. This is no longer a rush. It's been telegraphed to all hell.
That was such a beautifully placed coil canister, and now the rest of the Gaimin Gladiators have consolidated the rest that anchors towards the site. No more roam. Hoven is no longer in T3. They're all here training their guns on this double window push. It could happen anytime, any moment now.
And here it is, but the blitz finds the opening pick. Mowgli once again, the name on our lips. And Rise still nearly full HP, in a good position as Wolves have the numbers advantage and are looking for match point to kick off this overtime. They're starting to push on inside, but a C4 from Hoven. Mowgli once again. LMG in hand. He must be called upon, and he delivers. It is all on Detoji. A 1v3 to get match point, but Mowgli, you just cannot stop this man.
The onslaught of the Wolves never ends. This game feels like it's never going to come to a close. It's back and forth forever. Even in that last round, GG, they had the read. We gave them everything, all the praise, all the love, but Wolves immediately shut that down.
Rise on the blitz did exactly what it needed to do. It flushed the smoke out of that elbow position, and what's more, it got the kill as well. At that point, it's just a formality. Mowgli walking in, go spray him down. The whole of Wolves, they know how to deal with a situation like that. We go into a tactical timeout. The Gaimin Gladiators, Mowgli casually sitting on 20 kills.
20 kills. Wow. That is crazy. That really is just a testament to this match, a testament to this exact matchup. Even last time they played against each other, it was Mowgli. They couldn't shut him down every single time. This match they play against each other, it is still Mowgli against the Gaimin Gladiators.
But for Gladiators, this is their chance to win a game against the Wolves, to get revenge for yesterday. On the back of that tactical timeout, some fist pumps, getting the energy back on their side. They know it's possible to go 8-7 here from 6-7. It's exactly what the Wolves did to them. Gladiators had overtime match point over the Wolves, and Wolves brought it back. GG, it had a match point already in this game. They weren't able to close out. And it won't be too long before they may well have it again. If Wolves are able to lock down on this basement bomb site, though, GG won't be afforded any opportunity.
The Wolves leaning into the mirror windows. Both of them will be placed down immediately in the prep phase. One facing Freezer and one going into that laundry push. Supposedly reading into the fact that perhaps GG, they like to go for this front take. That's what the Wolves think they're going to do, and they're well and truly set up for it. Meanwhile, the rest of the roam goes out in that top floor. We know Wolves, they're incredible roamers. They are so good at holding onto some map control, especially on Oregon.
And remember, every time we see P4 up in the roam and the tower, at the moment he's actually playing site. A bit of a change of pace. GG typically struggled to clear him. I think at this point, Wolves have keyed into the fact that, look, Mowgli's having an absolute ripper. Just give him the license to do what he thinks is best.
And doing what is best is apparently playing the Warden on tower stairs.
Yeah, with the 1x site as well. Like, who runs Warden with 1x?
Mowgli. Listen, you can't question it.
I'm sorry.
He's on 20 kills.
Genuine question. Genuine question.
You can't. You just can't say that. This guy is on 20 kills at the moment. Although GG, once again, they are leaning into the Jackal for this roam clear. This Jackal has been very successful for them. They've been able to expedite the process that they didn't have the last time they played this particular map. Now they're getting their way into this ground floor. Hoven's calling out to his teammates, okay, it's clear. It's time to start getting the hard breach of Joe in and formulating a plan for the late game.
It's going to be a tough one, though. Plan or no plan, Wolves have a phenomenal setup on the site. That mirror window, the Warden, smoke, you got Banshees, you got ADSs, you got 2 C4s. I mean, it's just such a heavy stack of util. GG need to be perfect. This is by far and away the most defender-sided bomb site on the map. Wolves were only able to scrape away a win in the round just prior thanks to a very well thought out rush. GG need to have something equally well thought out. Otherwise, it's GG.
It's all in the details, it seems to be, between these two teams. They've seen how they play now. They've seen all the little ins and outs, and it's just about adding small alterations. GG, they look like they're going to poise themselves for a back take. They're not going for a front take, and what that does mean is that those mirrors are nullified at the moment. They're not really contributing to this defense at all.
Mowgli lucky to survive that nade. Oh, but he may not well survive. Tolji on for the drop. Bibu there to support. And he's oh so worried, but Tolji does go down. The refrag. Mowgli with a C4. Mowgli always there to do the damage. It is going to be a done deal. Wolves are going to take this game. Hoven is the last man standing for Gaimin Gladiators. No diffuser and no hope. 1 versus 4, and the Wolves can surely lock it in from here.
Impossible for Hoven. The Wolves, look at their discipline. The passive angles that they're holding, they're not giving them anything. They want to close this game out.
The Wolves know full well the respect that you must give to a team like Gladiators, who has pushed them to the brink, and yet still not peaking in the advantage, not looking to give away an opportunity. Shinka giving Hoven so much respect, but the Wolves know they deserve this win. They were the better team today. Mowgli was unreal. The Wolves were unreal, and they howl so deeply. Gladiators shut down.
The Wolves showing us once again a masterclass of Oregon. Even after all the prep work that Gladiators brought in, even after we sung the praises, the denial in tower, the respect had to come through from the Wolves, and eventually it pans out for them. They take it on Oregon.
22 kills for Mowgli, a well-deserved victory celebration for him. Honestly, credit to this whole Wolves roster and support staff team. As you see, Rob's coming in for hugs with the rest of the team. A well-deserved win. Every one of them. On the back of that timeout from Lilion, they stepped up. We're going to go to a quick break, but let's break it down in just a moment. What a showing. Once again, the Wolves do not disappoint. The Gladiators pushed them so hard. They even had match point in regulation, but the Wolves are just on another level. On the back of that tactical timeout as well, what a call.
Absolutely. The Wolves, they needed to be recomposed. They needed to give the respect to the Gaimin Gladiators that they deserve. That's exactly what we saw them give them in the last 2 rounds. P4, he wasn't even confident enough to play Big Tower anymore. Oh my gosh, shock and horror. It really was. But it paid off for them. They were able to close it out so cleanly. The discipline that they showed takes it to the Gaimin Gladiators.
All right, I tell you one person who did not lack the confidence. Mowgli, 20 kills. Let's have a look at the match summary. If you don't believe me, you'll believe it when you see it. 22 kills for Mowgli with a 71% cost. 5 opening kills with only 1 opening death. This is the kind of statistic that you just see like once in a tournament. That's it.
That is unreal. It really is. The last time these two went head-to-head, we were saying the exact same thing about Mowgli. This time they're going head-to-head, we're saying it, but even louder. This guy has just gone absolutely nuclear in the server, and there is nothing that can understate just how crazy that performance was.
Nothing to take away from the rest of the roster, who were phenomenal. Bibu in particular had such an impactful 1v1 clutch. We saw so many good plays from all of the guys on Gladiators as well, and they do take 1 point away. Let's have a look at where that leaves them on the standings, though, because once again, we have to split points between these two teams. On the group standings, as they stand right now, it's Wolves who are doing a lot better than Gladiators, but Gladiators do at least have 2 points to their name from the 2 overtime losses they got against Wolves.
And I mean, I was going to say this is going to be heartbreak for Gaimin Gladiators, but they've come to this international tournament. They've never been in this position before, and to take 2 points against the Wolves, I think they're going to be walking away from this, of course, heartbroken. They couldn't make it any further, but giving themselves a pat on the back. That is some incredible performance they've had. Now for the Wolves, it's a bit of a different story. They're still fighting for their place in the playoffs. Right now, they're holding on to it, but we still have a few more matches left to go. And if things don't go their way with Oxygen, it could be disastrous. It could be kind of bad. Yeah. But I don't expect it to. Those guys, they look in hot form.
Yeah, look, W7M obviously are perfect right now, 3-0-0-0. They're going to play Oxygen shortly, but the Wolves trailing behind may well get overtaken by Oxygen by the end of that game. Sorry, they can't be overtaken, but they could be caught up with. There is still a chance here for Gladiators, a very slim one, but it's not a done deal. Had they lost in regulation? No, all done. No chance of making playoffs. There is technically a chance, but it is a very slim one for Gladiators. Hey, if G2 made the major, I think anything can happen. But as takeaways, like Wolves, it's nice to see them in form, even though they did lose to W7M, even though they were pushed hard by Gladiators. I do wonder if there's maybe a newfound respect as well for the Indonesian team, who came in with pretty much zero expectation.
We saw expectation in that server. Wolves, they started playing really confidently. Towards the end of the game, more and more respect was getting poured out from them to the Gaimin Gladiators, taking nothing away from them. They did absolutely incredible, and I think that game was just such a testament to it. For the Wolves, though, their story is not over yet. They can fly through the playoffs, and I think that's just such an incredible story for them to follow. They have improved throughout these months, throughout every single stage, and now is their time for that next step.
Yeah, the Wolves are good, but you want to know who's great?
Who's great?
W7M. They're currently topping the group, and very shortly they'll be playing against Oxygen, so stick around on the stream. We'll be back very soon with that game.